The video you saw is Anita McKinney, and there's a backstory behind her. We were putting a trailer up across the creek to a gentleman whose house had flooded away. The creek is a foot deep, maybe 2 feet wide. The water rose 25 feet. Hurricane Helena is off the news. You don't see it now. You don't hear about it now. But on September 27th, up to 36 inches of rain fell upon the mountains. Winds were between 70 to 140 miles an hour, depending upon which side of the mountain you were living on. Water rose in Spruce Pine 52 feet. 52 feet. Completely washed out the lower street of downtown. I've never seen I-beams bent in half. I've never seen concrete bridges totally destroyed. I've seen a lot of storms. You just saw an ERT team from Virginia that was working, and if you noticed about them, a lot of them are gray-headed or bald-headed like me as I'm looking to the left where all the younger guys are, thinking, about time somebody starts stepping up just a little bit. But as I'm listening to Anita tell her story, the way I found her, as we're getting this trailer set up, a travel trailer, and we have 30 travel trailers right now that people are living in because their homes were totally destroyed, and we need another 1,000. 6,000 power poles were taken down across the mountains, 2,000 in Yancey County alone. The official death toll right now is about 175. With the official confirmed missing is only 30. That's hard to understand because they're still trying to find houses that are no longer there where people used to live that they can't find the people. But they can't confirm it until they get more information. So when you think about a wall of water coming down 20 feet high, the house goes away, the foundation goes away, the soil goes away. What are you looking for? Our church, we have a church in a small town called Pensacola, and the water came in the altar end of the church. So if you think about our sanctuary, it pushed the top of the sanctuary up, the wall up, and water came in underneath. We pulled a 30-foot tree with an 8-foot root ball out of the sanctuary. That tree saved the sanctuary, believe it or not. Because that tree sticking out with all the limbs created a dam, and then everything went around it. And everything went into the education building beside it, which is a 2-story structure. And the entire first floor of that structure is filled with debris. Mud, cars, trucks, gas ranges, whatever you can think of. As we're putting in this trailer for John across the creek, I look over and I see this lady just standing outside just looking. She looks at her house, she looks down. She looks at her house, she looks down. I walk across the creek to see her. She says, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Al Miller." "Are you with the government?" "No, ma'am. They don't like the government." "I'm with the church." "What do you mean you're with the church?" "I'm with the United Methodist Church Disaster Response Group." "What you want?" "I want to help you." I don't know about this. Let me come back. We had to leave. Went back the next day with 12 people, that team. I said, "Miss McKinney, we're here to help you get your life started back to normal again." She took my hands and said, "Nobody's ever done this." I said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we're going to do it now." And we started tearing her barn apart first. "Why are you tearing her barn up?" "Well, we're getting the mud out of her barn so we can get stuff out of the house and put it in the barn." Does that make sense? So that's what we did. I had a team of women, God bless them, who were going through mud 4 feet deep with garden spades, finding china, finding jewelry, finding pictures. You saw some of it on the table. The men were cutting out the mud and the gunk. When we left that house 3 days later, when the team left that house 3 days later, The house was completely torn apart. That's the only way I can put it. We got all the junk out, gotten all the mud out, all the debris out. We're ready to rebuild her house. That's her next step, and she's excited. I've got stories after stories like that I can tell you of what's occurring in the mountains. But what I need you to know right now, the mountains are cold today. We've had snow 4 times. It's going to snow again this week. 1,000 people are homeless. They're living in cars. They're living in sheds. They're living in travel trailers. They're living in hot tents. Hot tent's a big tent with a wooden stove in it. They're living in cold tents, just a regular tent. They don't want to go to a FEMA housing because FEMA housing is 50 to 100 miles away. They want to be home on their land. ERT, Methodist Church Response, is going to be very different this winter. It is going to be trying to rebuild somebody's house when we can get to it. But more than that, it's going to be taking food to somebody whose bridge is washed away, and we got to walk across the creek. It's going to be taking somebody propane for heat so they can get through the night. I got a phone call Friday at 6 from a lady. Mr. Miller, I got your name and number from the sheriff's department. Yes, ma'am, how can I help you? I'm cold. Our power went out today, and we don't have a heater. Ma'am, what's your address? You can't get here. I'll find a way. We found a way. The mountains are still moving. The storm is still happening. And it's going to continue for the rest of the wintertime. The ground's soft, the freeze comes, the rocks fall, trees come down. We had power outages Thursday from 60-mile-an-hour winds Wednesday night to Thursday. We need your help. Christmas to Remember will be a tremendous opportunity for us to buy propane, to buy generators, to buy diesel, to buy food, to buy water, to help people survive the winter. That's all we're trying to do right now. Let's get to spring when we can start everything new. That's where we're trying to go to next. Many years ago, when Kathy and I first started coming to this church is full of saints, guys. Alice says saints and sinners every day. He's right about that, but it's full of saints. You know, and I think about John Berglund and Buddy Masters and David Fowler and Swain Hamlet and many others who guided us and taught us and mentored us when we were young in this church. I look today at people like Kelly Puryear, Steve Rook, Woody Wells, Rick Booth, Wes and Lucy Jones, Alan, who are guiding us and being mentors today. They're showing me what the hands and feet of Christ means. When I talked to Miss McKinney, I talked to her about that. I've never talked to people about God in my life. It's the reason we did that day. We talked about what it meant to be the hands and feet. Who are the hands and feet? It's like who's UMCOR? You're UMCOR. You're part of the Methodist Church. You're the hands and feet of Christ in your relationships with others every day, in this building and without. In times of need, in time of sorrow, in time of excitement, we all work to help each other. That's what God's asking us to do. That's the commandment. All of you can't come to the mountains. Number one, I don't have room for you. Number two, it's cold. You can still help. Your prayers. Prayers mean a lot, guys. Your presence, of course. Your providence, yes. Right now, we're having to buy food. We're having to buy fuel. We're having to buy things to keep people alive. Money's big. We need that. Christmas to Remember will be a tremendous asset for us with that happening. There's a term going around called Mountain Strong. And Alan, I'm sorry, I'm way over time. Mountain Strong is a term that has been endeared for people who are very prideful in the mountains. They're strong-willed, they're strong-backed, they're strong in their faith. They're strong in their dislike of the government. I know the term Mountain Strong because I've been married to Mountain Strong for 45 years. You see, my wife is from Spruce Pine. And so I've learned about Mountain Strong for a long time. And Kathy, when I retired in April from work, my intent was to do some construction on our home and then for her and I to do some mission work together. Well, that was my dream. It wasn't hers. Little did I know that come the end of September, the strongest person sitting beside me would be my wife in Spruce Pine, her hometown. And we're helping people get their lives back together again. And then I look up and I see members of Haymount coming. And I have members of Haymount calling. That's hands and feet, guys. We need you. We will need you for the next year and a half, for the next 2 years. This is not going away this winter. It's going to be a long journey. This church has been a blessing since Christmas to Remember started with Operation Inasmuch and with the international focus that it's had. This church has a tremendous impact on a lot of things. In my struggles of where this church was and where this church was going over time, and I've fought a lot of things with this church in my own mind. It's always been the saints of this church that have reminded me what it is to be the hands and feet. And for those saints, I am thankful each and every day. I'm thankful for the opportunity that you've given me in teaching me how to do what I'm doing today and being your representative, but more so than that, being God's representative. That means a lot, guys. When you tell somebody I'm from the church, that has a whole new meaning to life because you're giving life to somebody that's without hope. And to see somebody's eyes go from dark to bright, like Miss McKinney's eyes did in the video. When I saw her the first day, she was very distraught and very withdrawn and just didn't want to. But when the team came in and wrapped their arms around her and prayed with her and went to work, you could see her brighten up each and every day a little bit more. And when I saw her last week, she was excited to know about the next step. The next step is to hands and feet to continue and to rebuild her house. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me the chance to talk today. Thank you for coming to Haymount. Thank you for being a part of Haymount. Thank you for being a part of Christmas to Remember. Thank you for being a part of UMCOR. Whether you knew it or not, you are a part of UMCOR. And thank you for being part of the hands and feet and what you do each and every day. God bless all of you.